Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show today called NG 英文. My name is John Drummond, or Yang Holland.
Hello, 大家好，欢迎各位再度来到 NG 英文，我是 Angela.
We have a great episode for you today with my good friend Garret M. Clarke. That's Clarke with an E.
对啊，今天 NG 英文邀请到了摄影大师 Garret Clarke 来跟大家分享他一路从来台湾念 MBA 到现在闯出自己一片天的故事。
My guest today is American. However, he has been living in Taiwan for quite some time. He is an incredibly talented photographer, videographer, content creator, and so much more. So everyone, please welcome my good friend, Garret.
Yo. What's up, my man?
Boom, my brother. Welcome back, first of all, to Taiwan.
Yeah, thank God.
You've been spending some time in the States with your family, and I wanted to start with kind of your journey within the world of photography and videography. So can you give a little maybe self-introduction about who you are and what you do here in Taiwan?
访谈一开始呢 Garret 提到他早在10几年前就来台湾了。那时候呢是拿着奖学金在台南念 MBA 念这个商管硕士，写了一份呢这个以摄影为主题的毕业论文，像是怎么样做相片销售之类的。因为那时候那个数位相机刚出来嘛，那整个摄影市场正在大转型，买张相片那个价格瞬间就是从几千块美金掉到1块钱就可以到手，然后加上网络又开始有图库的出现，让大家要什么照片几乎可以说是垂手可得，或是要拍什么照片随便手机相机拿出来就都可以拍，让当摄影师这样子的一个憧憬就慢慢销声匿迹。所以那时候呢 Garret 就决定做这方面的研究，也跟朋友创立了一间自己的公司，拍了非常多的相片。那这样子无形之中呢就变成在做我们现在很红的这个网络创作，这个 content creation。 那到后来因为各公司都不断需要有人去帮忙更新网站，更新这个社群媒体内容，甚至他们还吸引到了国际运动饮料大公司红牛跟非营利组织绿色和平的目光，请 Garret 跟他们合作拍摄相片。几个地方我们来稍微练习一下。如果想要表达很多，一般可能我们马上想到的英文都是 a lot of 或是这个 many， 对不对？但其实这句 a bunch of 也非常实用，非常道地哦。像等一下 Garret 说他们拍了很多照片，就是 a bunch of pictures。 那另外一个也是一个很可以学起来的字 rad，很简单，就是 R-A-D rad。 好，它其实是一个俚语，就是形容某件事情很帅很刺激这样。赶快来听吧。
My name is Garret Clarke. First, I gotta apologize for this deep voice, raspy voice.
Sounds sexy, bro.
Yeah, I came to Taiwan, whatever it was, like 13 or 14 years ago, and got a scholarship. I studied MBA in Tainan, and I was pretty fortunate. I got to do my whole thesis about photography, actually, like how do you sell pictures? Because at that time the whole industry was changing. Like digital cameras had been out for a bit, and people were once spending thousands of dollars for a picture, and now the market was $1 a picture. Like iStock photo and all, like stock photo was happening, and all these different things. Like the whole industry was changing. Everybody thought the idea of being a photographer is completely over. Everyone's gonna have a camera. You can't do it anymore. And so I spent a lot of time researching that, and basically what I ended up studying was what we would now call like content creation, and what it means. Like that term wasn't even coined back then, but how companies will need constant content, always on content. And so I spent like a year and a half just learning about that before even really understanding what it was. And then me and a buddy started a company. We started taking a bunch of pictures. I think the first like kind of two big clients I had were Red Bull and Greenpeace, which were awesome. Like I believe in the mission of Greenpeace, I kind of always have. And so to be able to work with them, and they would do these like crazy stunts. Like they would just try and like disrupt stuff. And we would go take pictures. Like I remember when the Gap opened up, they like roped down the front of it and hung a sign over it, and like special ops teams and stuff. It was so rad. So we would help them take pictures, and then we did a bunch of stuff for Red Bull, and that opened up doors to a lot of different companies in Taiwan.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, I love that, and it's so cool to hear a little bit about your thesis. I actually didn't know kind of that was one of the reasons you came to Taiwan. So that's, again, why I love doing this show. I get to kind of always learn these little things about you. But, Yeah, so now your focus has been still utilizing what it means to create content from a photography scene, but you've been transitioning a lot to videography. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Great. So can you share a little bit about what you've been doing more in the videography space?
接下来 Garret 要分享他从拍摄相片升级到拍摄影片的过程。大概在3年前左右呢，他就离开公司开始单飞，自己出来接案。那个时候呢，可能名声评价就还不错，所以就一直有人想要跟他合作，请他长进拍影片。但 Garret 因为觉得自己没那么厉害还拍影片，所以都只是不断推脱，就是帮忙找人顶替自己的位置。一直到后来红牛指定清点，只要他不要别人，才让 Garret 勇敢接下挑战，专门还去买了一台摄影机相机专用的这个手持稳定器，好让他在拍摄的时候呢，手不会晃来晃去，让画面看起来比较舒服比较稳定。好，买了之后呢，还带去纽西兰一起跟他度假，就是每天帮那个太太还有小孩找事做，让他们当主角，24小时天天跟拍这样子，练习他拍摄的稳定性。结果度假回来2天后呢，就开拍。因为当时他有位朋友就是周文杰小春，因为成立自己的一间庙，要把神明带到全台各地的庙去跟其他神明打声招呼这样子，所以请 Garret 来帮忙拍摄记录这个过程，希望说透过这样子的一个影片来叙述庙宇跟小春之间的故事。大家如果有兴趣的话呢，上网搜寻小春香火就可以看到 Garret 的作品，也能稍微认识一下小春。那这边等一下 Garret 他讲的 New God on the Block 很可爱，他是从 New Kid on the Block 这一句俚语给他变来的。New Kid on the Block 它本来是指新来的新手菜鸟这样，那他这边把 Kid 改成 God 就有点像是在玩文字游戏，然后就是说新来的神这样子。
Think about roughly 3 years ago I started going out on my own and doing my own work just as an individual. And of course I had a team of people that I worked with, but it was kind of me being a bit of a freelancer and not working for this company I had created. We ended the company and I moved on. And at that time, people were asking, oh, can you shoot videos for us? Can you help us shoot these videos? And I was like, yo, I'm a photographer. I can shoot these videos, but I'm not good at it. Like I was admittedly, and probably still admittedly not very good at it. And so I would try to hire other people. So, I got this friend, he can shoot video. He could have him, he could have him. And then finally, actually the people from Red Bull were like, Garret, you need to shoot this video. And I was like, you guys need to hire someone that's better at shooting video than me. And they were like, no, you need to shoot it. And it was like a bit of a challenge. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I have to take this seriously. And it was weird. I think like prior to that, because I was so afraid of trying to do a good job, because if it didn't do a good job, at least I could tell myself, well, you didn't try that hard. And so then it doesn't matter if it was a good job or not. And so finally it was like, it's time you got to do a good job, and you really have to try. So I remember I bought like a Ronin Steadicam, took it on vacation with me for a month with my wife and my kid. And every day I would just make them do stuff for me to like practice with the Steadicam. Steadicam's hard to use. Like everybody think, oh, just put the camera on Steadicam and it's going to be steady. Like, no, it's a talent. And so I spent, 4 weeks in New Zealand annoying my family with the Steadicam. And then I got back, and 2 days later we had to do the shoot, which was my buddy Xiao Chun. He opened up a temple, and this was the story of him opening up his temple. And so we were in Taichung and then Tainan, and then we did like an all island tour to bring the god from his temple to all the other temples so they could welcome like the new god on the block. And it was crazy. It was so cool. Like being in the front row seat of these crazy temple, you've seen temple stuff.
Yeah.
But being like involved and staying the night in the dormitories, in the temples with like thousands of kids, it was wild. And trying to shoot it and also trying to tell a story. And then we had a script writer write out a script for something that he was going to like a voiceover for it. And then we did kind of little behind the scenes of a music video he was making, and they all combined together to tell this story. And he's a pretty soft-spoken guy, and he doesn't really like show a lot of his personal life, so it had to be done right. Like and I really, really respect this guy too, so I couldn't you know that situation. Like you got to do it right. And so I did. I tried, and it was pretty okay. I'm pretty proud of what we made. Obviously, I kind of look at that as like, this is the first time that you decided to take it seriously. And I learned a lot about, here's a bunch of stuff that you don't know.
Yeah, it's such a cool video to shoot too, this kind of That's such a cultural thing of transporting these gods from temple to temple all throughout the cities.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. What's the name of that video? Could people still find that, maybe?
Yeah, the guy's name is Kenzie, like Kenzie from Wantong. And then the video is called Shanghuo, like incense.
Okay.
And we kind of use that theme of incense throughout the whole thing.
You know, you have continually impressed me with the content that you create.
Thank you.
And, you know, I see now your son is putting out better content, though, than you. So
Hey, next generation.
It's in his blood.
Next generation. That's where the money's at.
No doubt, brother. So thinking about another project that means a lot to you was you got to, I believe, shoot the cover video and cover art for ESO from MJ116. Is that right?
接着 Garret 分享到有一次他在跟那个 MJ 玩童MJ116 的那个瘦子两个在聊天，在聊一些他新专辑的想法，讲到说这次出的专辑会跟之前出的完全不一样，会是一个全新的风格，因为自己毕竟也30好几了，已经进入人生的另一个阶段，不能再一直唱一些年轻人10几20岁的歌，应该要有一些大人的样子。那这些其实 Garret 他自己也很能体会，而且觉得这样的转变是好的，所以虽然当时那时候那个瘦子他其实有一点担心这样的转变会失去一些粉丝，大家也是很鼓励瘦子朝这方面去发展。后来1年多之后呢，瘦子他还真的就成功的做了改变，还指明要 Garret 帮他拍他音乐的影片，让 Garret 整个就开心的不得了，想说天哪，我最喜欢的歌手又要帮他长进还要去菲律宾取景，根本就是美梦成真这样。我现在心里一个画面就很像是 Garret 在偶像面前心花怒放，但是又要故作镇定的样子。总之后来呢，他们持续有在合作，像今年因为疫情的关系，让新专辑的发行变得很不方便，不好宣传，也不适合一群人聚集看演唱会，所以他们就预先录好了一部瘦子的现场表演，然后敲定一个时间播出，让粉丝可以感受一下那个现场演唱会的气氛这样。本来 Garret 他还不是很有信心说自己可以有办法说去帮这位流行音乐榜上有名的大咖拍现场演唱会影片，没想到最后呢也是顺利完成。这边最后 Garret 讲的 It was bananas， 大家不要误会它跟香蕉没有关系，这是一个很口语的说法，用来表示某件事情很疯狂就跟 crazy 的意思很类似。至于你说为什么要说用 bananas 来形容，你可以想象就是爱吃香蕉的猴子有没有，他们如果一看到香蕉就变得很兴奋很激动的那个样子，就是哇，就是很 crazy。另外还有一个字不断出现，不知道各位听众朋友有没有注意到 shoot 这个字它有非常多的意思，在今天这个拍片的主题呢，它表达的是拍摄，所以像 shoot a movie 或是 shoot a video 就都是拍电影拍影片的意思。那如果是在其他情境下的话呢，它也有发射啦或是开枪，甚至呢也可以是委婉说脏话说不好听的话的一种方式。各位如果有兴趣的话呢，待会节目过后就赶快上网了解一下它的其他用法吧。
That was crazy. Like I've done work with NJ on and off, like through Red Bull and individually with them. I've helped them shoot a few different things, never any videos or anything. And then a few years ago, 3 years ago, I was somewhere and Issa was talking about his new album. And he's telling me, I'm going to make this album. It's going to be different. Sonically, it's going to be completely different. It's going to be a break from anything I made before. He's talking about he's 30-something years old. And he's like, I can't make a 18, 19, 20-year-old rap album. He's like, I'm a different person. My life is different. And he was telling me about that. And I felt like, even like myself, I was going through a lot of those same changes. We're like, who are, like, you know, you go in your 30s, you just get this weird kind of like, what am I? Things change. And he told me about it. It was beautiful. And I like really encouraged him. He was really fearful. Like, I'm going to alienate all my fans. They like bad boy ESO. And I'm going to come out and say some like adult stuff. And then he called me up and he's like, hey, Garret, can you come down to the studio and hear the album? And this is like a year and a half later. And I was like, oh man. And so I went down to the studio and he played me the album and he kind of walked through each song. He's like, this song means this. Cause obviously it's all in Chinese, which I can catch like 50% of it. You can catch the feeling of the music no matter what. But, yeah, he explained to me each song. And then afterwards he's like, I want you to shoot the cover for me. One of those moments you're like, oh my God, this guy's like one of my favorite artists out here asking me to do this. And he's like, we're going to go to the Philippines and shoot it. So, you know, dream upon dream upon dream. And then you feel immediately just super humbled. Like, you could ask anyone, why are you asking me? But I didn't ask that question. I just kind of said, okay, Cool. So we did that. We went down to the Philippines and we shot that. And then a little bit later in the year, Red Bull does like an annual artist project. And this year was to do a video with ESO. And ESO wanted to do the album start to finish as one live video, especially now because of like coronavirus. You couldn't do a concert back then, and trying to reimagine how could you present a brand new album. Like, it's not the best year to release an album and then plan to go on tour when you can't do any of that. And so the idea was present the album, play it live band, live recording. And if you like, Red Bull called me up and they're like, we have somebody that we want to shoot this, but we would like to have a backup plan. And I was like, I'm not anywhere at the level video wise. Like, I've come a long way from shooting the temple video, but I am not come this far to shoot. Like, this is a huge thing. This is the first time anyone's going to hear this album live. This is ESO. This album's doing well on the charts. Like, it's #1 on Spotify, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, I don't know what to, like, I don't know what to tell you guys. And they say, oh, just give us a treatment. Tell us, like, we want to see what your take on it would be. And so I thought, okay, maybe I'll like kind of write out the treatment and then they could pass it on to someone, put it in the hands of someone that can make it happen. Yeah, I sat at home, just sat there like, what does this sound like? What does this feel like? What is the story that this is going to tell? Like, and he had some other tracks on there. And I was fortunate because of him walking me through each track. I knew what each song was about. I knew what he thought each song was about. And then so I pretty much put together this treatment that was tried to be like a visual metaphor for his life, like where he came as an underground rapper into clubs and into like the spotlight and then into like ultimate success. And we spent a couple weeks planning that thing out. I think we ended up the day of shooting, we had a team of like 76 people. So this massive, 20 people on lighting, one main DP, 2 extra cameras, each camera's got 4 or 5 operators around it. Huge setups, a full-on production team building and tearing things down, and it was all live. So we had to have an entire sound team recording live, and we could only do I broke it into like segments, like 3 to 4 song segments, and they had to play it without fail in those segments, and it was insane.
Wow, bro, that is incredible. I think, shout out to ESO and shout out to, your connection with him too. That sounds like a beautiful friendship that you guys have developed over the years. And what a cool project, to be doing that, fast paced, new creative content, doing it live for a certain amount of songs.
Oh, but hold on, sorry though. It wasn't being put out live. Like, it was a recorded video.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, you're recording live, though.
Yeah, no, he had to pull those off. He had to flawlessly wrap his whole brand new album with a lot of, we shot the whole thing in one day. So an hour-long music video shot in one day. It was bananas.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Well, if you don't mind us transitioning a little bit, though, kind of the story of you coming into Taiwan, obviously for your MBA program, is that correct?
Yeah.
Down in Tainan. And, now thinking about, as you are such a businessman, you are
so weird.
So weird, right?
So weird.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it. But thinking about where does your language play into that? Humbly, you're kind of understanding 50% of what ESO is explaining to you about his songs and all that. Where has language kind of played into what you do with maybe clients and your own photography and videography work?
在这段访谈中呢，他提到入境随俗的重要。像在台湾当然很自然就是要会讲中文嘛，没有很溜也没有关系，但至少要会讲出一些可以稍微去跟当地人沟通。好，因为一旦中间那个语言隔阂淡掉了，甚至是如果没有了的话，那两个人之间就比较会有一些温度，比较容易去交流嘛，彼此间的那个关系也能有更上一层的发展。像他遇到新朋友聊天的时候呢，就会尽量都是用中文去讲说，我是南部人，我是台南人这样子。虽然说如果再谈更深入一点的话，他可能就会听不太懂，没办法去 handle 那个情况，但是因为他开头的中文自我介绍就已经马上可以让对方就是有一个展开双臂欢迎你的这样的一个态度。那这边 Garret 他用到的片语 by any stretch of the imagination， 有时候也可以说是 by no stretch of the imagination，意思就是说无论如何怎么样也没办法想象说什么什么什么，就是说他中文的口述能力是不管怎么想也想象不到的糟，就真的没有很好。但是他还是会尽量想办法多用中文去跟当地人沟通，去建立一些感情。
Yeah, I mean, it's hugely important. You're in Taiwan, you got to speak Chinese. Like, if you want to do, I don't know how to say it in any other way than like you got to talk to people. Like making things is about connecting with people, and you got to talk to them. And if you're here, you got to talk to people in their language. Like how are you going to connect? Like language is so important, and some things can only be said in Chinese. Yeah, I mean there is no 麻烦 in English. Like I don't know how to say that. You can only be 麻烦. It can only be said 麻烦. Like and like 默契. Like you need to be able to do that. And the more that I don't have like very well-spoken Chinese by any stretch of the imagination, but I have enough that when I walk up and I talk to people and they say, "Oh, what's up? Where are you?" Like, I can say, "Oh, I'm from Nambu," or "I'm like a Tainan Ren," and right away people go, "Oh, okay, we're on the same vibe a little bit," And then if it gets too serious, of course, I'll be like, "Hey, okay, you guys have gone past what I can say," and that can be a problem. I wish I could change that, or I hope to change that. But Chinese, to learn Chinese takes a lot of work.
And what I love about, what you're doing as you create such a team around your own company, you're bringing in a lot of local talent from Taiwanese artists and Taiwanese photographers, videographers, you're also creating an English atmosphere for them. Is that right?
紧接着 Garret 讲到他的工作室主要是做头像摄影，就是拍大头照的。好，那你摄影师拍人家大头照的时候，很重要一点是要跟对方建立某种程度上的信任嘛，建立某种关系，这样子拍出来才会自然好看，不会说笑得很尴尬别扭之类的。所以很多时候他的客户如果是台湾人，那 Garret 他如果又可以分辨出来对方的喜好或是一些习惯用语等等，然后又能够用中文跟人家讲话的话，哇，那就更容易可以去跟对方拔干净，去跟对方聊。那另外 Garret 还有提到啊，他们团队里面呢，除了他以外都是台湾人。虽然说通常开会都是用英文来沟通，但是其他时候如果是去找客户的话呢，因为员工的双语能力基本上都还不错，所以就会根据客户的需求来决定是要用英文还是要中文。而且他们有时候还会教 Garret 一些中文，整个就是一个可以发展他们专业技能，然后又可以练习中文练习英文的工作场合，一个很棒的双语环境。那这边最后他讲到说 We kick it, like really kick it. 大家知道是什么意思吗？这个 kick it 的 kick 就是踢东西的踢嘛，但是在这里跟它完全没有关系哦。它表达的其实跟 hang out 很类似，就是跟朋友一起打发时间啦，一起玩，一起东晃西晃这样。所以这边他就在说他跟其他台湾同事都是感情很好，都相处得很不错。
Yeah, I mean, if you're making a video, you're taking pictures, especially like most of my pictures are portraits. Like I always say portraits of people. And one of the job as a portrait photographer is you got to have a connection with somebody. And if you can't speak, you got to speak enough Chinese. You got to know what kind of Chinese these people speak. Like, is it Binglan Chinese or is it like tea Chinese? Where are we going? What I mean? Yeah. What color are the sandals? Yeah, that's super important to create that connection right away. And because it's just about trust. People got to trust you. And if you can show that you speak a little Chinese, they're going to trust you a little bit more. And then in terms of our team, yeah, it's me and then a team of Taiwanese people. And when we have our meetings and our presentations, and most of that's in English, but when we go to talk to a client, depending on how the client wants to have the meeting, it could be either in English or in Chinese. And that way my team knows how to just switch back and forth no matter what. Like none of them are native English speakers, like, but they all, in the studio, we all watch, we kick it, like really kick it, where we're talking about stuff. So we speak on a decent level. And they teach me Chinese all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I love is, we're creating these kind of environments where it's almost like a bilingual environment. Yes. And so you get to learn more Chinese and they get to learn more English through you. And it's beautiful. I love that. Shout out to the Tai Ke vibes. The Bing Long boys. Nice. All right, G. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And a question I'd love to end with is, if you could go back in time and talk to a younger Garret, would there be any advice you give yourself about language, life, art, content, anything?
访谈最后呢 Garret 想跟年轻时候的自己说啊，小伙子，不要把事情的结果看得太重，过程呢远比结果重要的太多了。我声音变得就是说要好好去享受中间的过程就好，不要把注意力都放在最后的结果，想说这个结果对我会怎样怎样怎样的，应该要好好把精神花在中间的过程才对。好，要 love the process, not the outcome。 好， process 是过程，那 outcome 就是结果。 那现在就赶快来听访谈最后这段发人深省的分享吧。
If I could go back and look at myself in the face like 20-something-year-old Garret, for anything, whether it be language, friendship, relationship, anything, I would tell myself to love the process, not the outcome. Don't focus on what the outcome's going to get you. Love the process.
Beautiful, man. I love that, and I echo that exact feeling. And I think as I get into my 30s now, it's always such a reminder to, do you love the process, John, or are you trying to get some outcome? And if I can always kind of bring myself back to the present for the journey, I always feel I'm more balanced in my life.
Yeah.
So nicely said, my man. Well, brother, where can people kind of find your work online? Maybe some social medias to shout out?
Tricky situation because we're starting this new company, but we're starting it. We've been working on it, and I would say we won't even tell people what it's called till it's ready, which will be in about a year. So with that being said, you can find me. It's Garret M. Clarke, Instagram at Garret_M_Clarke with the E, and www.garretmclarke.com. But be on the lookout. There's some big things, big things coming.
Some big news.
We got some big news.
Big news. My man.
Big things coming.
Big things coming. Big things popping. All right, my dude. Well, shout out to you and all the fam, and I wish you nothing but success.
So yeah, thank you.
Peace. All right. Well, that is our NG Ingwen show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG, NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7 and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
好啦，今天的节目就到这边告一段落啦，感谢各位的收听，别忘了订阅我们的 Spotify 还有 YouTube 频道哦。那喜欢我们节目的话，也要记得到 Instagram 到 IG 上追踪我们哦。如果各位有什么其他问题是想要问来宾的，也请欢迎在底下留言告诉我们，我们一定会想办法帮你问到手。好啦，那就下周在空中相会咯，拜拜。